Welcome to school, coming to you this week from Dollard des Ormeaux School in Shannon. I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Jeremy. A lot of you think that this is a military school. Actually, most of us are from military families. We live right next to Valcartier base.
Our parents have decided to make serving Canada their career.
What it means is that when one of your parents is a member of the Canadian Forces, the entire family is committed to the military.
It is especially tough when the country is at war. Right now, we have students whose fathers and mothers are in Afghanistan.
It is really hard, but we all realize that serving your country is very important, not just to us, but to all Canadians.
Make that important to all the world. It is the highest calling, and we love and respect our parents for making the decision to serve.
And don't forget, we're proud of them. Anyways, it's time to tell you that school is the only program made by us, for us, and about us.
On this week's show, we will take you on a tour across our province to tell the stories that we researched, wrote, and reported.
This week, from right here in Shannon and Shawville,
our students at Dollard des Ormeaux School tell you how emotionally draining moving to a new city can be.
And the students from Pontiac High School bring us inside their welding shop, where they are happy to say that they make stuff.
But first, it's time for what's going on in our world. Let's give American President Barack Obama credit. He reversed the previous Bush administration's decision on stem cell research.
In a landmark bill, the United States created a law that allows researchers to use the embryonic tissue in the laboratory.
Many scientists believe stem cells could cure deadly diseases with these custom-made tissues and organs. These were first discovered in 1998. Cells were removed from an embryo at a fertility clinic, establishing the world's first stem cell line.
Since then, research into stem cells has moved light years. Scientists have been researching biological ways of repairing brain, liver, skin, bone, and nerve cells by growing healthy stem cells.
The way it works is that stem cells do not have a particular function in the body. Once injected into the area, these cells will convert and replenish the infected zone.
For example, injected into a liver, stem cells will act as liver cells. Stem cells could also be life-saving for diabetes, spinal cord injuries, and heart disease patients.
Many church groups do not agree with stem cell research because they are taken from what to them is a life form, and this is sacred.
The disadvantage with stem cells is that sometimes they form into tumors or they morph into unwanted tissue.
But the positives appear to outweigh the negatives. It could become the greatest medical leap forward that mankind has seen to date.
We always hear how global warming is melting the Arctic ice in our north. Now we have to be concerned with the Antarctic. If the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere increase only slightly and the ocean temperatures continue to rise, a large part of the ice covering Antarctica will melt. That means water levels will rise over 7 meters. This would be disastrous for our planet. Scientists predict if we continue at the present levels of pollution, almost half of the world's landmass will disappear in the next 1,000 years.
First, we had RoboCop, now we have RoboFish. A school of battery-powered fish developed in England will be released in a Spanish port. The 1.5-meter mechanical fish will monitor pollution levels and detect oil slicks from ships or contaminants pumped into the seas by industries. This police force of RoboFish will be fighting crime in the sea without any need for remote guidance. They are smart enough to avoid large rocks and ships. It's a bird! It's a plane!
Actually, it looks like a car, because you can park it in the garage and fill it up at your corner gas station.
But once you get to the runway and press the expand button on the dashboard, it turns into an airplane.
A group of MIT grads have developed a new airplane. They hope it will become popular because of its mobility and simple learning curve.
It will take about 20 hours of training to be licensed, and once in the air, you can travel 800 kilometers on its 20-gallon tank of high-test gasoline. Closer to home, with the deployment of our 2,000 soldiers last week, we can't help but think of the dangers waiting ahead for the men and women serving in Afghanistan.
But with the sense of danger also comes hope. The troops have helped in the reconstruction of Afghanistan, building hospitals, roads, bridges, and schools. Our troops are giving hope to the children of Afghanistan.
In an open letter we received from the Director of Education for Kandahar Province, it is written, "Our students would like to thank you for helping to make Afghanistan a safer place for us all. Your parents are doing a great job, and the work they do will affect all of us through many generations. Because of their efforts, we can go to a school that keeps us warm in the winter, provides us with a place to play, and most importantly, allows us to learn and grow."
To show their gratitude, one of the schools sent a homemade banner to our school signed by 350 girls.
As we told you earlier, the majority of students here at Dollard des Ormeaux School are from military families. That means we have to uproot and move on short notice.
Some of us have changed schools so often that we've gotten used to it, but you never get used to it.
And that's why the students here decided to tell you how tough moving can be, and at the same time, give some hints on how to deal with a traumatic experience.
Let's see if you recognize my partner.
Good morning, class. I'd like you to turn in your books to page 56, The Return of Prosperity After World War II.
Morning, Mr. McGilver.
Morning, Mr. Lagacé.
Can I interrupt your class for a few seconds?
Certainly, come on in.
Okay, thank you. Cassandra, you can come in. You go right up to the front of the class. Well, you're happy to see me this morning? Class, I have a new student here this morning at the Dollard des Ormeaux School. It's Cassandra Picard. She's from Ottawa, and I'm sure you'll make her feel welcome. All right, then. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Come on, Cassandra. Have a good day, Cassandra.
Have you ever had to move to a new city or province and leave your friends and family members behind? Do you know what it feels like to move from a comfortable environment to an unknown setting? Our class took a survey in our school, and 83% of our students come from military families who have probably attended at least 3 to 6 different schools.
Most students will attend 2 or 3 different schools before they graduate from high school.
From kindergarten to secondary 5, I've attended 7 schools.
How long did it take you to integrate?
When you're a teenager, it's harder to make connections than when you're a kid, so it took me about 2 to 3 weeks.
Did you experience any difficulties?
Yes. From moving to Ottawa to Quebec, I lost 3 years of my education. I had a lot of best friends that I've gotten to know really well, and then I had to move here, restart fresh, find a new job, and have new classmates, and just a totally new environment that I'm not used to.
Is moving hard for you? How do you cope with it?
Well, I try to get out as much as I can and meet as much people as possible because it's more miserable for me if I sit around and have no one to talk to or hang out with.
What feelings do you feel when you walk into your class and meet your new classmates?
I feel very nervous, my heart is pumping like crazy, and because all these new faces, everyone's staring up at me, I don't like being in front of a crowd, but I have to put up with it.
What's the hardest adjustment a student has to do when he comes to a new school?
The difficult part is the social integration, just making new friends. And it's very difficult for a student to fit in. The teachers are well alert. They see things in class, but more importantly, at the locker bay and etc. That is where we notice things going well and sometimes not too well. That's when we intervene. So we're very alert to this, with 30% of our population changing every year.
You were brought up in a military family, and now you're married to a military man. So have you moved many times?
Yep, in 25 years, I've moved 6 times.
Do you get a choice on whether you're going to get transferred or not, or where you're going?
Nope, as a kid, Dad just tells you where you're going, and with my husband, it's wherever his bosses tell us to go.
Over the years, has it gotten easier or more difficult over the time when you had to move?
Well, when you move as a kid, it's really hard to leave all of your friends because that's the most important thing in your life. So that's really difficult, and that never gets easier. But as an adult, your focus changes to your career. So being a military spouse, I can never have a career because I have to move every 2 or 3 years. So any kind of seniority or any kind of reputation that I built for myself it disappears every time I move to a new province. So that's really, really difficult, and that part doesn't get easier.
Hey, did you hear?
What?
My dad got posted.
Really?
Yeah, we're moving.
When did you hear?
During the summer yesterday.
How are you?
Bad. I don't want to leave the soccer team. And just like, I'm gonna miss you guys.
Where are you going?
Belgium.
That's so far.
Only 12 hours. Thank you.
In order to make these changes a bit easier on you, our class made a list for anyone who would like to have some tips on moving. First, make a list to make sure you don't forget anything important when moving to your new home. Do some research on where you're going to live. Try to find some interesting places or things to do in your new province or city. Share your culture with others. Move with a positive attitude and make sure that you are going to enjoy your new experience.
So yeah. So what's up? Hey, new kid on the block, come and sit with us. How was your day? We're good.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Maggie.
I'm Rosa.
When we come back, it's all you need to know on how not to lose your fingers in welding class.
But first, it's time for our loser of the week.
Facebook is the subject of an investigation by Canada's Privacy Commissioner into whether it is breaking the law when it passes on sensitive personal information to advertisers.
And that's why Facebook is our loser of the week.
Learn is the leading English education resource network, established in 2005 as a foundation.